I'm afraid of success because I don't think I can handle the responsibility. I'm afraid of success because like people might come after me. I'm afraid of intimacy because like what if they leave and I'll get heartbroken and blah, 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 blah. And if you actually start to answer those questions and figure out why you're afraid of what you're afraid of, you can actually address those concerns. What up, everybody? Welcome back to Operation Moksha. As always, I'm your host, Chris Orozco, and today we're going to be doing a little bit of a deep dive into the differences between shadow work and shadow integration. I define shadow work as essentially whatever allows you to make contact with your unconscious material. Things like talk therapy, where you're talking out whatever you're dealing with and becoming more aware of it as you discuss it with another person. Really valuable. Things like mindfulness meditation, where you're sitting there being present with your mind as you count your breath or stare at a candle or whatever it is. Again, you can start to become aware of your unconscious material. And this can be really valuable because as you become more aware of these things, you start to disidentify with them and they kind of break their spell on you, and there's just things to be aware of as you go about living your day. This gives you more mobility, this gives you a little bit more freedom of thought and action, and ultimately can just kind of set you free in some really cool ways. But shadow integration actually goes a little bit further than that and allows you to take all that unconscious material and turn it into assets. They can be sources of wisdom, they can be sources of strength, they can be sources of insight, and ultimately help you strategize and live your life in a more successful and skillful way. And the reason this happens is because when you practice shadow integration, you're not only becoming aware of your unconscious material, but you're actually turning a conscientious, analytical, and curious eye on that unconscious material, and you're trying to figure out why it's even there in the first place. Whereas with shadow work, you could be like, okay, like I'm afraid of success. Like, cool, I can go about my day being afraid of success and take whatever steps I need to take. But ultimately, that part of you is still back there being afraid of success and potentially sabotaging your plans. With shadow integration, you go a step beyond and you say, why is this part of myself afraid of success or intimacy? Why is this something that I have to be afraid of? And you actually get some really cool answers from that. It's like, oh, I'm afraid of intimacy because what if they leave? It's a good fucking question. What if they leave? What are you gonna do? Are you still gonna love yourself? Are you still gonna take care of yourself? This part of you is essentially asking you, if this person leaves, are you gonna take care of me? Am I still gonna be loved, or am I gonna be completely fucked? And if you can say like, yeah, I'm gonna love you, I'm gonna take care of you, I'm gonna make sure that you're okay, that part of you actually relaxes and you no longer really have a reason to be afraid of abandonment or rejection or whatever it is, because you've actually addressed the reason you were afraid of it in the first place. Same with success, same with whatever else you're dealing with. If you take that extra step and get curious about it and analyze it and figure out what this part of you needs from you and then integrate that need into your lifestyle, that part of you actually becomes an asset. It has things to teach you. And I'll give you a really cool example from my own real life. So I was gonna give a workshop at a festival called Lucidity that I've gone to a bunch of times and I absolutely love it. Recommend going if you've never gone, it's super fun. And I was about to give a talk there. This is my first talk I've ever given at a festival. It was a goal I had for a really long time. And as I was practicing, my mind kept saying like, dude, you're the fucking worst. Like they should have gotten anyone else to do this. You are gonna completely fuck this up. Boy, do you suck. And if I was practicing shadow work, I would have just been present with that and continued going and have those alarm bells going off in the back of my head the whole time, making me really anxious, but still able to do what I needed to do, which is still valuable. But because I practice integration, I actually turned to all those thoughts and I thought, okay, why? Why do I suck so bad? What is it about this that is so terrible? Why is anybody else better for this? And I actually got some really cool insights. So what I learned was, this part of me was saying three important things. You're not speaking from the heart, you don't have a clear intention, and you're not speaking with the audience in mind. And I was like, well, fuck, you're right. Under those circumstances, if somebody gave a talk at a festival, it was just essentially parroting their old YouTube videos and not speaking from the heart with a clear intention and having the audience in mind, by my own standards and opinion, that would not actually be a very good talk. So these parts of me that were telling me that I was gonna fuck this all up were saying that for a good reason. But because I was willing to listen to the reason, I was like, okay, fine. I'm gonna speak from the heart with a clear intent and the audience in mind. And then when I did that, I started to feel way better about the talk that I was giving. All of my fear and anxiety turned into excitement. And then I was able to absolutely knock the talk out of the park, even though it was at fucking 9 o'clock in the morning and I was really hungover from dancing to my favorite DJ the night before. I woke up super hungover, still showed up to the thing, still knocked it out of the park. Everybody got value because I had addressed the main concerns. I was ready to be present. I had integrated the thoughts of all the parts of me that said that I was gonna fuck it up, and I ultimately did a really great job. So if you want to start practicing integration, it's important to get beyond the step of simply becoming aware and comfortable with these things, but also make sure that you're asking why they exist in the first place and addressing those concerns, acting on them, so that all of that shit can be turned into something positive and ultimately you can be more skillful in your life. So I hope this helps. If you want to learn more about it, my channel is filled with all kinds of really cool stuff about shadow integration, where we talk about how to integrate pretty much everything you're ever going to need to deal with. So stay tuned, like, subscribe, stick around. There's going to be a lot of good stuff coming. I'm Chris Orozco, and I'll see you next time.